Guys, today we are discussing the top marquee signings for the top four last season, and we're going to be looking in particular at the forwards. So, Mark, at the end of this, we are going to discuss who's done the best bit of business. Let's kick it off with the champions. Liverpool, they've made a ton of good signings already.
World-class signings.
British transfer record, Florian Wirtz, 160 mil. But add to that, potentially, Isak, not done yet, but could be done. This is huge money. Between the two of them, they'll be the two most expensive signings. That's north of 250 million that they would have spent. So, firstly, what do we think about that from a window perspective and from a marquee signing perspective?
Marquee. You're the one who's always gone about this word marquee signings. Oh my God, who have Chelsea? What marquee signings have you got? Okay, we'll talk about marquee signings because Alexander Isak is a marquee signing once they close him, because as I told you, I truly believe he's going to be going there, and that will make them a worldwide force in club football. So if we're talking and considering that he's going to be going there, he is going straight up, out of all the top clubs in terms of all the strikers that they've purchased, he will be the marquee signing, because you're talking about someone who is top 4, top 5 striker, number 9 in the world. He already has a huge amount of Premier League experience. He knows how the league works. He knows how to operate the defenders. He's going to be going into the Premier League champions in the form of Liverpool, and he's going to complete them. He's actually going to complete them, and he is going to make them so scary. It's scary just thinking about it. For me, I don't care whoever else we're going to mention, because I already know there's going to be no bigger number 9 signing this window than Alexander Isak. He's just that good.
Mark, I agree with you. Absolutely spot on for everything that you just said there. But I have to play devil's advocate, as I wouldn't be doing my job properly and you wouldn't be doing yours properly. Alexander Isak, if there's one thing that you can say about Alexander Isak as a slight potential weakness, he does spend a lot of time in the treatment room. And there are scousers, some of them we know, some of them are very close to us as friends, who also carry the same concern that he is a little bit injury prone. Does that take the edge off at all for you in terms of a signing?
No, not in Liverpool's case, because a couple of days ago they just spent 80 million on Hugo Ekitike, who was initially supposed to be their number 1 striker, before Alexander Isak the next day announced he wants to move out. He's looking elsewhere, right? So they've got him, Hugo Ekitike, to fall back on when Alexander Isak gets injured, because as you have just said, it is true. That's his one negative of signing this specific player. But they've got Hugo Ekitike. I still think that he is the marquee signing, and when they close him over the next couple of weeks or before the window closes, that will just make Liverpool a scary force. He will be out of all the top strikers except Haaland. He's going to be the number 1 striker in the Premier League. I don't think he's a complete player as Alexander Isak. You know, Haaland is more than happy just to have 1 or 2 touches throughout the entire 90 minutes of a football game, and as long as he gets to score, he's happy. Whereas I think he's the only number 9 in world football who's actually happy to do that. But him and Alexander Isak, they're 2 of the best strikers in world football, I think. What's your thoughts on what I just said?
Yeah, agree. I quite like Haaland. He's a breath of fresh air, isn't he? He's like almost a throwback to back in the day. You know, there's nothing wrong with the number 9 staying in the box. There's nothing wrong with making runs and beyond. There's nothing wrong with staying in there and getting your goals. And, you know, no one does it better than Haaland in the Premier League. Even last season, he still scored over 20 Premier League goals, and that was a poor season for City and him. Season before he broke all records. So, yeah, agree. Isak is a different style of player. And I agree with everything that he said. I think, look, he's a scary prospect. Liverpool are going to be a scary prospect if they get Isak. And everyone else we speak about now from a forward perspective will probably pale in comparison. Moving on to Arsenal. Gyökeres, deal done. £63 million. He comes from Sweden.
Dun, 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 dun,
Mate.
dun, dun. Bruv. You
He's
happy with this?
Dumpty's girlfriend to play with Declan Rice.
Rice.
Yes. I'm very
Even I
happy
know
with
the
it.
lyric. Even I know the lyrics. Here's a gangster song for your new signing. I do like it. He's
Right.
good.
It is quality, and it's not even the right lyrics, but who cares? Our version, Mark, will catch on. Right. We've got Gyökeres. As you know, I'm a resident Gooner on this podcast. So as a Gooner, I'm very happy with the signing. I think 63 million for a guy that's banging in goals. Oh, I get it. He's been doing it in the Portuguese league, but I think it's good value and definitely a good punt. If you see the players that are going around for 60, 70, 80 mil these days, he can more than hold his own in terms of price tag. And he's coming in to score goals. He's 27. He's like, I'm mature. I'm ready now. I want to come in and I want to carry on winning. And he has got a winning mentality. You know, they've won back-to-back league titles. And that's not easy to do if you're at Sporting Lisbon, because there's another team called Benfica, right, who you've got to get past, and Porto, but not Porto so much. Benfica that have been the dominant force in the Portuguese league. So he's done a good job. He's won his league titles there back to back. He's won cups. Good signing. By all accounts, Arsenal needed this signing. Am I right or am I right?
You're wrong. He's not a good signing. He's a fantastic signing for Arsenal Football Club. He is the one, but you know, the rest of the team, the rest of your squad is very established almost. You've been playing together for such a long time now. Yeah, you're getting one or two who are slotting in nicely, but he will come in, slot in, and he will be your game changer. When is the question? How long will it take for Gyökeres to actually adapt to the league? Because the biggest concern with Gyökeres is there's a lot of people, pundits, football fans, they're considering him a bit of a gamble, and it's understandable. Right, he is. I think getting him for 67 million, 63 million, or whatever you guys paid for in this day and age is wicked business for a 27-year-old goal scoring machine. Right, no doubt about it. But how quickly will he adapt to the Premier League? How quickly will he adapt to Arteta's demands and his positional play and things like that? As I said before in the previous podcast, Mikel Arteta will need to make some tactical adjustments to get the best, to bring the best out of Gyökeres. But what a fantastic signing. If he came to Chelsea before the window started, I wanted him or Osimhen, right? Osimhen's now looked like he's going to secure an official permanent move to Galatasaray to carry on working under Mourinho. Fantastic for him. But Gyökeres, bro, I wanted him. And I am a little bit jealous that you got him, but we do have a very good replacement. Let's just say we were going to be touching on that as well. But Victor Gyökeres, wow, I'm excited to see how he does. I think he's going to rip it up for the league, and I think he's going to rip it up for Arsenal. But when? So we'll see on that.
Well, Mark, let's touch upon it now. By the way, I agree on the Gyökeres bit. Yeah, how quickly is he going to adapt? I think he will adapt, and we'll go into that in a second. But you said we're going to touch upon Chelsea. So let's look now at Chelsea signings. Now, you've got the lap in, but as you said to me the other day, it's very, very likely that actually your number 9, at least for most games, initially will be Pedro. Is that fair, firstly? Are we looking at Pedro as your guy that's starting up top?
I think so. He's Premier League proven. He had a couple of years already in the Premier League. I think it was Brighton, right?
Brighton, yeah.
Brighton, yeah. Sorry, memory blank. I did say in the previous podcast when we were first linked with him, it was like instant. It wasn't even a link with him. Chelsea already put initial 50 million bid. So that's when I started doing a little bit more heavy research on the guy. Who were we getting, bro? 50 million. So of course I've seen him at Brighton, but I wanted to do more research, and I looked at his numbers and I didn't think that they were anything special. And a lot of his goals actually come from penalties. But there's a lot of people around that sort of time go, you haven't seen him. You haven't seen the best of João Pedro. And I haven't, straight up. So I said to you previously, probably a couple of months ago, and whenever we signed him, a month ago, or whatever it was, I was like, I'm not really keen on spending 60 million on a mediocre Premier League striker, which is what I initially thought. How wrong have I proven so far? Because he's come to Chelsea, and in the Club World Cup, you can even argue we may not have even won without him. I mean, that is in itself is debatable. The thing is, I have to be careful not to get too ahead of myself, because it's just a couple of games, right? They are against PSG and etc. and Benfica or whatever it is, granted. But I need to see how he does it over the course of the Premier League team. He is coming into a team which is has a bigger pool of talent, right? They've now had 1 year under Maresca, the rest of the team. So he's going to be coming into, I don't want to say established team, because, you know, there's so many incomings and outgoings, but it is a fair, with the core players, it's quite established. And it looks like he is going to be a superstar signing. Before he started playing in the Club World Cup games, I would have put my money on it that Liam Delap would have been our number 9. Okay, because I think he is a fantastic player. So I think that they're going to interchange. But the main number 9, I really think is going to be João Pedro. A super versatile, effective player, can run back, can move forward, is skillful, can score goals. Even his first goal for Chelsea when he did the Frank Lampard bombing in from the midway into the box and did that bullet header. Bro, we haven't seen that from Chelsea since the Bowley era. So he's going to definitely be bringing a different dynamic, a different skill set to Chelsea. And I think that's actually what we need. And he fits in directly with Maresca's style with his versatility. I'm excited really to see how he performs in this Chelsea team next year.
Yeah, look, Mark, time will tell. I think that is fair so far, but it's just such early days.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away by him at Brighton, but then he was at Brighton and he's going to be surrounded by better players at Chelsea, right? So, you know, it's going to be interesting. Let's also cover off City's work as well. Now, they haven't bought a number 9, but that's because they've got Haaland, right? Now, the only other forward they've bought of note at the moment is Cherki, and they've picked him up at 40 million. What do we think so far of their business? There's not been like a standout sign. I mean, he is the standout signing for City, unless I'm mistaken here. What do we think so far about City's transfer business?
Yeah, because initially when the window opened, right, they were quite active. They got Reindeers. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. They got Cherki. They got 1 or 2 other players.
Reinders.
Right. Okay. They got 1 or 2 other players and stuff. So we were expecting them to kick on and have like a big window, like the rest of the top 4, really. But Cherki, if we're talking about him, what I think I've known about this guy, for a couple of years, and I've seen some clips of him. I've seen him play in a couple of games, and I'm thinking, wow, the speed, the dribbling, bro. And the goal he already scored for Man City in the pre-seasons, I'm super excited to see, because as I said, like, he's going to be a massive upgrade on Jack Grealish, of course, like, they're thinking of shipping him off to whoever. He's going to be a big upgrade on Doku. I'm really excited to see this guy. I'm more excited to see Cherki more than I'm excited to see Victor Gyökeres, right? And you know how excited I am to see Victor Gyökeres. Watch this, bruv. Watch this space. Look out for Man City next year and look out for Cherki, because, bro, he is going to be bringing some excitement to the Premier League. Watch this space.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he does as well. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by City's business so far in general, though. I think that there's a few unknowns there. I thought they'd be a bit more active, but the window's not done. Yeah. There's still time, right? Okay, guys, what we're going to do now is me and Mark, we're going to go through the signings and we're going to go through each one of the 4 that we've spoken about and rank them. Who's going to be the biggest hit and who's going to be all the way down to the biggest flop. So we started with Isak. We spoke about Gyökeres. We've covered Cherki, and we've also spoken about Pedro. Those are the 4 players we're going to focus on. What's your gut telling you? I think you've already told me you're number 1, right? Who do you think is going to be the biggest hit for their respective clubs this season?
I think it's going to be Alexander Isak. I mean, you're talking about someone who is world-class or definitely bordering world-class, and he's going to be joining a world-class team. They didn't win the Champions League or the Club World Cup, but that doesn't mean that they're still not one of the best clubs in the world, right? Because they steamrolled the Premier League. Yeah, granted, there's context behind it. The rest of the teams played terrible, XYZ, but they did what they had to do. They even had the affordability to take their foot off the gas at the end of the season. That's how far ahead they were. And now they're going to get Isak, who is just going to make them an even bigger force. For me, out of all the forwards, he is the one. He is the one. I'd actually have him instead of Haaland, to be fair. That's why he goes as my number 1. How about you?
Yeah, fair. I've got to caveat this with if, guys, because at the moment of recording, time of recording means Isak is not a Liverpool player. Now, he may well end up a Liverpool player, and if he does, he will be the biggest hit of all the one that we've spoken about. And I think there's some good signings here as well, right? So that's how highly I rate Isak. I can totally get the argument for Isak over Haaland as well. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, if you're going on like how it is right now, he's still a Newcastle player, right? If we're talking about Hugo Ekitike, right, who's their latest purchase at 80 million from Frankfurt, I am excited to see this guy in the Premier League, but he is just so unproven. Now, if we're talking about Hugo Ekitike, he would be last on my list.
Interesting.
He would be last on my list.
All right, let's talk about what's been done. Hugo Ekitike has been done. So you're putting him as potentially, of the four we've spoken about, potentially to be the biggest flop. I want to know what everyone thinks. I know the comments are going to go crazy now because Liverpool fans, they love giving a stick. Hugo Ekitike, you don't know what you're talking about. It's the greatest signing since last greatest signing. But yeah, okay. We shall see.
Let's see.
I would be inclined to agree with you because we don't know what he's going to do. So, Gyökeres, next season at Arsenal, how will he adapt? Will he be a hit? Will he be a flop? If so, where are you putting him?
I'm putting him second. Victor Gyökeres is going to be a massive success as Arsenal, yeah? You heard it here first. Well, you probably heard it here like 20th time. But he's going to be a massive force. He's going to kill it for Arsenal. I'm a little bit jealous. He should have actually made the correct move and moved to Chelsea, who have a higher chance of winning the league above Arsenal. What can you do, isn't it? Like, maybe people just like Arteta's eyebrows. I don't know what it is. But yeah, regardless, he is an Arsenal player and he will do really well for you. I think he is built for the Premier League. Just look at him, bruv. Like, he is a sexy ass specimen. Like, I reckon he'll bully defenders. I think he'll brush past defenders, and I think he'll score a ton of goals for you guys. He's your missing piece. If you don't win the league this year, it won't be because of him. It'll be because of Arteta, and he's just trash. And by the end of next year, the whole world will see that. Watch this space.
I don't know if you get how football works, Mark, but you have to bid for a player to actually try and get him. So, yeah, great. I'm sure Chelsea wanted him, but or Chelsea fans rather wanted him, but you didn't bid for him. Yeah, didn't bid for him. Okay, I'm very excited about Gyökeres. I think he'll do a great job. If we don't win the league, it won't be Arteta's fault, potentially. It could be Arteta's fault. It might not be, though, because if Isak goes to Liverpool, I'm telling you, I just don't know how anyone can live with that Liverpool team. But anyway, I agree with you. I think Gyökeres is going to be a big hit, and we'll go into that in a second. Cherky for City, they've got Haaland. Haaland is probably guaranteed to have another good season because he just does Haaland things. That's what Haaland does. Cherky, you're excited about. He's not your number 9, but how do you think he's going to fare?
But by the by, let me make a small adjustments, right? Yeah, I put Victor Gyökeres as second, but if you're talking about brand new signings, yeah, he'd be second. But actually, even though Isak's my number 1, I would have him over any other striker in the Premier League. Haaland would be my second because Haaland is still a special goal scorer, right? That he's also built for it. So he would go second, and then it will be Gyökeres. But if we're talking about Cherky, he's not really a number 9, but because he's a forward, we'll mention him. I don't know how many goals he's going to be getting, but I reckon he will have a big impact for Manchester City and how they play and how they progress and how they improve. I'm really excited to see him. I just don't think he'll have the same positive impact as Gyökeres will, like a big impact. Like, Gyökeres is a game changer. Cherky, I do not think is a game changer, but I think he's an excellent, exciting addition to the Manchester City team. That's my thoughts on it. What do you think about what I just said?
Yeah, it's difficult to judge, right? Because we're talking about the rest of the guys we're talking about is going to be playing up top, number 9, or that kind of role, right? So it's difficult to say. But the jury's out for me. I don't know how well he'll do over there. I think there's a lot of moving parts at City, and I just want to see how Rodri comes back. I want to see how Phil Foden comes back. We've spoken about this a ton of times. What I will say is that he's an upgrade on Doku. I don't really rate Doku. I think he's a one-trick pony which has no end product, 0 end product, actually.
Agreed.
Jack Grealish is on his way out, hasn't quite cemented his role in the City side in the 4 seasons he's been there. So I think Cherky's going to be definitely an upgrade, and I think he'll do well because it's Pep, it's City, and he's a good player. So it's interesting. I just don't know if he's going to be a bigger hit than everyone else. So we then go to Pedro. You've spent 50 or 60 million on him, but regardless
60.
of the price tag, what are we thinking for Pedro compared to the other guys? Firstly, is he going to be a hit? I think you and I probably agree he probably will do well. But how is he going to be a hit in comparison to the others?
I think he's going to be a hit. I don't think he's going to... That's hard. Like, he's not an out-and-out goal scorer. Isak is. Haaland is, okay? Cherky isn't. Gyökeres is. Joao Pedro is more of a versatility forward who has the ability to play in different positions. And that's how I think he's actually going to be rotated. Yes, predominantly, Maresca's going to play him as a 9. But if there's injuries and stuff like that, it is no issue for him to play on the wings as a 10. Like, that's the great thing about Joao Pedro. He won't get as many goals as Gyökeres, as Isak. He'd probably get more goals than Hugo Ekitike, but that remains to be seen. That's not my firm, cemented thought. But if I had to bet money, he would have more goals than him. He'll have more goals than that. Who was the other person that we mentioned? Cherky. He'll have more goals than him. He won't have more goals than Haaland, won't have more goals than Gyökeres, won't have more goals than Alexander Isak. But that doesn't mean that he is not going to be ineffective. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to have an impact, because for Chelsea, he will. I'm excited to see how he does. I want to see if he can continue that brilliant starting form that he played in the Club World Cup. I want to see him transfer it into the Premier League. And that is the $1 million or $60 million question. Is he going to be worth 60 million? And only time is going to tell. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, fair. Look, time will tell. I think as an out-and-out striker, I agree he's going to be playing across front line. I think he's going to offer you something different to like a Gyökeres, Haaland and Isak, which counters to the fact that, you know, those guys are going to, their job is solely to score goals and be a,
that's the difference.
Number 9, right? So he's a different type of player. It's going to be exciting to see, because he has started life at Chelsea very well, albeit pre-season. But he's also got Premier League pedigree, and let's not forget that.
That's so important. That's so important.
So to close the show, Mark, I've got a couple of questions for you, and I'm taking you a little journey here. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of fans talk about Liverpool and Man City. You and I have done it as well in previous podcasts. Talked about Liverpool and Man City. They've been the dominant force for the last 8 years, Man City predominantly. And people are going Liverpool City for the title next season. Question to you firstly, Mark, and we're going to go on a little journey. Are people sleeping on Arsenal, yes or no?
Yes, they're sleeping on Arsenal. No, sorry. No, they're not sleeping on Arsenal. And by that, I mean, I don't think that Arsenal are going to win the league. As I said to you, I don't think they're going to do it with Arteta, even though they've secured their missing piece, which was Victor Gyökeres. So that's what I'm saying. That the end of the next season, it will be make or break. If Arteta does not win, or if he gets the same amount of points as last season, 100% ship him. Even if he gets the same amount of points for the season before, I'll still say shipping, because he's still stuck at second place. Especially now you've got your missing piece. He has to do it. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think your squad is as strong, or mentally definitely as strong as Man City, and physically and imposing as Liverpool. I think that you will finish fourth.
Okay, fine. That's your opinion. Absolutely fine. Just so you know, Arteta, season before, we had 89 points. 84 points won the league last season. 89 points could win the league next season, because Liverpool just did it with 84. So let's see. Now, who's been the most successful team in the last 8 years?
City.
Okay. What was their blueprint? They got in a keeper, yeah? They got rid of... Pep came in, he got rid of Joe Hart, right? Couldn't play with his feet, got Edison in. Yep. Then he adapted his back line. He got 4 big, pretty much like centre-back type players plus Kyle Walker, right? So he had Nathan Ake playing at left-back, big boys. He adapted the physicality of the Premier League. So we've gone for a defensive line where players can play across the back line, but you've also got centre-backs playing at left-back and stepping into midfield, okay? Then he had Rodri, right? The all-round number 6, the destroyer, but a very technically gifted footballer as well on top of that. Now, you look at the wingers, he had Riyad Mahrez on one side, and if you go back before the Grealish, he had Leroy Sané, very direct. Yeah, I was a big fan of Sané. I know you were as well. Very direct. Then he went out. Also, by the way, who did he have behind Haaland? He had Kevin De Bruyne, and he's got Haaland up top. Okay, so Kevin De Bruyne playing in that number 10. All right, now, here's why I asked you the question, and I'm not saying they're the same type of players and the exact same, but you can see what Arteta's building. He shipped off Aaron Ramsdale and brought in a keeper who can ball, David Raya, right? Pep did it with Edison. He then bought 4 centre-backs to play at right-back, left-back and centre-back. Ben White is a centre-back by trade. We bought him. He moved to right-back. Our left-back was supposed to be Calafiori, but MLS has pushed him out and he's just dominated. That left-back, though, always steps into midfield, right? Whether it's MLS or Calafiori. You've got Gabriel Saliba, beast. So you've got the physicality in the back. He's just gone and got a number 6 that a lot of Spaniards compare to Xabi Alonso, the complete number 6 in many ways. He's a ball winner, he looks forward, he plays that role. He's gone and got Declan Rice. He's got Saka on one wing, and he's linked to getting Eze or whoever you want to put on the left. Martinelli was supposed to be that direct player. He's not cut it. Madueke, we don't know if he'll cut it or not, but again, he's very direct. Eze, very direct. You've got Odegaard playing in the KDB position, not as good as Kevin De Bruyne before you lot get excited. And who's he gone out and got? He's got a Scandinavian number 9, like Haaland, not as good, potentially, who stays in the box and his job is to score goals. He's not going to drop and link up play. He's going to stay in the box. The similarities, you can see what he's building. He's actually matching City's blueprint, and City being the most successful team over 8 years. Now, time will tell if he actually gets us there, but there's not much more he could have done in this window. I don't think, outside of obviously if he gets Eze on top, I just don't think there's much more he could have done in the window. And I can actually see the blueprint of what he's trying to do. And he's actually trying to emulate City. Whether he does or not, different story. Can you see where I'm going with that?
People, you get managers that try and copy Pep Guardiola, it never comes off. Find your own style as well, bro. It's good to learn from the best. Yes, you know that's one of my mottos. But you're learning from someone who is in a league of their own. That's a revolutionary type of manager, right? He's changed the way football plays. So I understand trying to copy him, but trying to copy him doesn't mean that you're successfully going to get there like him. Mikel Arteta needs to also find his own way. He's been at Arsenal for how long now? Years, bro. Years. So he's had years to create his own team. And now with Gyökeres, that's the missing piece. So they're really, what you're saying is you're comparing him to Pep Guardiola. I think that you shouldn't really be doing that, Geezer. Yeah, because Pep Guardiola is on his own. For me, he's the greatest manager of all time. Yes, you can get inspired for him, but be your own manager. That's what I would say. He's compiled a really good team, Arsenal, but at this moment in time, I don't think it's better than Liverpool and Man City. And I still think Liverpool and Man City have a stronger chance at finishing higher than them. If I had to put money, that's what I would say. That is what I would say to your response.
Fair enough. Guys, let us know in the comments. We want to know, are people sleeping on Arsenal, or is third or fourth about right for them? Now with the signing of Gyökeres, a true number 9 who stays in the box and bangs goals for fun, is that the missing piece? They've got the best defence in the league. They've added to their midfield. Now they've got the number 9. Or is it going to be rinse and repeat? City and Liverpool, again, fighting for the title. Guys, let us know in the comments. Mark, land the plane, close the show.
If you want to see more of our content, guys, click this video right here and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, guys.